Solve the system of equations. Give your answer as fully reduced fractions and radicals and ordered pairs. Those are a couple of key things. So as I look at this, I think I probably want to try to eliminate a variable. And I see that I have 2x squared. So if I was to multiply the top equation by -1, this would really be x squared plus 3y equals -6. And now if I were to add the above and below equation, I'd have the x squareds dropped out, y squared plus 3y, those are not like terms and can't be combined, equals 10, or 16 minus 6 is 10. Now I'm going to set this equal to 0 so that I can ultimately try to factor this. So here I'm looking for two things that multiply to -10 and add to 3. Well, that could be an x plus 5 and an x minus 2. I'll multiply to a -10 and add to a positive 3 equals 0. So I've got x equals -5 and 2. So in my ordered pairs, I'm going to have a -5, comma, something I've got to find. Could be more than one solution. And I'm going to have a 2 for x, got to find y. So to find those y's, we'll go back to whichever equation looks easier. This should have been a y, by the way, because all these were in terms of y. So that means my ordered pair isn't quite right. The -5 and the 2 are the y's, and we know those. So I'm going to go to the x squared minus 3y equals 6 equation. And for the y, I'll plug in a -5 first. X squared minus a -5 equals 6. Minus 3 times, excuse me. So this is going to be x squared plus 15 equals 6. When I subtract 15 from both sides, we have x squared equals -11, taking the square root. X equals I, because of the negative, times square root of 11, plus or minus. So this means we're going to have square root of 11i and negative square root of 11i with that -5. So there's two different answers there because there was a plus and minus root here. Now I'm going to look at the other solution, 2. X squared minus 3 times y was 2 equals 6. Well, now we have x squared minus 6 equals 6, adding 6 on both sides. X equals 12. X squared equals 12. When I take the square root, I'm going to have x equals plus or minus the square root of 12, but they said fully reduced radicals, so I got to reduce this radical. This is really the square root of 4 times 3, so I'm going to have x plus or equals x equals plus or minus, well, the square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of 3 I can't simplify. So here's the other pair of answers. So I'm going to have 2 square root of 3, and then I'll have a -2 square root of 3, each going with the y value of 2. I've reported them as ordered pairs, and I've fully reduced my fractions and radicals.